Every single country has its own deep state infiltrations. The so-called Expediente Royuela, the Royuela file, is an enormous amount of information, mostly written notes between high-level politicians, judges, criminals, and law enforcement members that configure a criminal organization and sustains itself through hit contracts, drug money, money laundering, spying, crime covering, influence peeding, rigged censuses. The written notes have been intercepted by a net of informers. People in different fields of the society that perchance of position have been able to provide this information. People who may or may not be patriots, but at the end did feel the need to expose this criminal organization. Alberto Royuela, the father of the family, has been able to gather and store the data for more than 20 years. The written notes have been copied and transcribed, and more than 200 lawsuits have been filed. The written notes are proofs to be dismissed or confirmed in a court of law by graphologists, but they have not been processed. The Royuela family shows proof of more than 1,700 killing in Spanish soil. One of the main differences between the government secret operations and the Royuela file is that the targets here are not always criminals or terrorists, but civilians as well. People who have not complied with the requirements of the Spanish deep states, people who were fighting for freedom and truth, their families and friends, or people who just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Besides the criminal activity that enriches and protects the organizations, missions are requested by at least one foreign instructor, mostly the Masonic Logia of Miami. The Royuela family has been calling out the criminal organizations, suffered retaliations. A family member, Javier Royuela Samit, was killed. Alberto spent about 18 months in prison, and Santiago spent 10 years in prison. Since 2019, Santiago has been publishing the information, the written notes, and the lawsuits filed. However, no judge has been brave enough to conduct trials. The lawsuits have been archived. The only brave judge that has been helping the cause has suffered a forced exile from his position, the judge Fernando Presencia. The Royuela family has been defying authorities but never been prosecuted for their claims. If Santiago and Alberto are lying, if the proofs are fake, how is it that none of the accused are suing them back? What would happen if you were innocent and somebody would make false claims against you? Would you not sue them back and call them out? The information is spreading everywhere. It is impossible to stop. That is why the damage control policy have been to blame the Pegasus software filtrations. Some names that appear in the large amount of notes that are the former president of Spain, José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, the current defense minister Margarita Robles, the chief prosecutor Dolores Delgado, former prosecutor Carlos Jiménez Villarejo, and the chief of the High Court of Justice of Catalonia José María Mena Álvarez. Now the story has taken an unprecedented turn. Just a few days ago, Santiago has published what is supposed to be the tombs of more than 40 people killed in the organization, and he's claiming that the bodies are buried in the warehouse land, address Calle del Trueno, number 70 Leganés. Some people have already set camp in front of the warehouse to make sure the bodies are not moved out, so more covering should not happen. May 19, 2022, Pedro Rosillo YouTube channel El Arconte went with his friend Carlos to the police station of Leganés with the intention to present the proofs of the Calle del Trueno number 70 Leganés tombs. He's then been told that there were no need for a new statement as they were already aware of it. As he insisted to make his own statement, a police officer told him, "If you are recording with your phone, I will throw it out of the window, and I will throw you out of the window as well." Pedro called out this threat to another 5 or 6 police officers who were just there, but they said that their colleague talked about his phone and did not threaten him. The police officer who threatened Pedro then added, "Yes, I said it, I will throw you out of the window." Pedro wanted to make complaining against the police officer, but then the rest of the police officers started to put on their gloves as they surrounded both Pedro and his friend Carlos. At this point, knowing that the Spanish police has the presumption of truth, they could have been beaten up and been accused of starting a fight within the police station. Funny enough, we have recently knew that the police station received a surprise visit just a day or so before that. The current Home Office Minister, Fernando Grande Marlaska. Pedro Rosilla and Santiago Royuela Samit went back with the lawyer a couple of days after, and they were able to present the statement.